less. Wake up thinking God, he showed me how to reinvest. All this stress, I was giving game to you peons from the gate. Use my own self as examples. I live raw and never hate.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Tuesday Thoughts, and I have really been thinking about this censorship that's been going on recently, and I know a lot of people aren't really grasping what I'm talking about, but there are a lot of things that they call TOS, terms of services, things that you agree to when you get into social media and you try to get into content creating, where you have to agree to certain things that you don't realize really control your level of speech. You know, certain words you can't use, even the basics of words are being mutilated and changed around or bleeped out because it can be deemed dangerous or harmful. But if that is the actual terminology and definition that exists in the book, it makes you wonder what other aspects of censorship are they doing. I saw a video where, I don't know, they bleeped out something. I couldn't even determine what it was, but it was somewhere in this area. And I don't know if it was a broad line or something. It was something crazy. But I realized, I'm like, all right, this is starting to get ridiculous, because it's like, what level is it going to be acceptable to then be like, no, this is overdoing it? Because I noticed over the last 15 years or so, if you look back to 15 years ago versus now, you will see there is a lot of language policing that is going on, and it is starting to get really outlandish. Like, there are certain groups of people you can't name because you'll be canceled, sued, can potentially go to jail for. Yes, there are laws that are in place that are protecting certain places where you cannot speak on them, criticize them, or deal with them. And that's a scary thought, because how is it that I, as an individual, am incapable of using my freedom of speech to criticize a group that I may deem doing something that's outlandish? I find that to be very disingenuous, and it actually goes against what the First Amendment is all about. Because if it does, and we start making these deals with everybody else, and oh, well, all right, we won't say that because that's unfair, that's not cool, that makes me feel bad, then what are we doing? Because you can start manipulating what you view as truth and then tailor it to where you can switch the narrative and make it where you want it to be. The moment you start policing the language, you can then mess with the truth. And that's all it is. The moment that you mess with the language and policing it, you then can obscure the truth, because you're preventing people from being able to speak freely about what the truth is. You know, because the thing about the truth is that it doesn't change. It cannot be altered. But if you're messing with the things that allow the truth to be spoken, then you are obscuring the truth, because you're removing words and saying, well, if you say this, this is what's going to happen. You see it in the streets now. They have these people arresting people, doing all these different things. And I'm looking at, like, what is the legal aspects of what they're able to do? And a lot of stuff that they're doing actually goes against their actual positions. And I'm just confused. You know, America is heading into a very dark place. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what is going to be the breaking point? What is going to be that thing where it looks like V for Vendetta, where they have these fires all over the place? You know, we've seen bits and pieces of it. But what is that day where it happens where we just sit here like, ooh, we ain't going outside for a while? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that going to be? And I don't want to see it. I'd rather see stuff get back in order, back in check. But, you know, everything has to come to a head, and we got to start looking at everything from censorship to policing the languages and just not being honest. Because a lot of things that go on is we allow politicians to lie on every level, whether you're Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. We the all of y'all are allowing these people to continue to lie with no aspect of being checked or there's any repercussions for all their lives. And that is going to be the problem of the citizens that exist out here right now. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments section and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody. Peace.